Hey, I hope you're having an incredible day. Today we're going to be building out a Google Maps lead scraper. So this is extremely powerful. Literally all you need to do is enter in the search term that you want. So in this example, I'm doing track contractor, the location that you are trying to scrape with the city and the country, how many you want to scrape, and then you just hit ready to go. And then it'll literally scrape all of those leads on autopilot for you. So I set this to 1,000. I went to bed last night. I woke up this morning and I had 1,000 different leads in here. And that has the company name, the address, the website, the phone number, the rating, how many reviews they have, and the maps URL. So if you are targeting small to medium businesses on Google, or if you are looking to run SMS campaigns, then this is a really easy way to scrape tons of leads on autopilot. Literally all I had to do was click one button. And the best part is, for 1,000 results, it cost me $1.90. And today we're going to be building this out from scratch. So if you stick around to the end of this video and you follow the steps, you'll be able to have your own lead scraper that can scrape anything on Google Maps with just a search term and a location. Now, if you are looking to just plug and play and follow along, you can get access to all of these blueprints, the Airtable, as well as all of the other blueprints that I've created within make.com. And if you are a business looking to implement AI solutions, then you can book a call in the description below. With that being said, let's jump right in and start building this from scratch. All right, guys, so I made this really simple diagram to explain the 4 steps that we're going to need for today. It's really simple. So the first one is we need a make.com research scenario. So this is what's going to be triggering and actually going to get those results, right? So it's really simple. It's actually only 3 steps, which is right here. So it's just watching for when that ready to go check mark is checked. That's what's going to fire this. And then it's going to proceed to step 2, which is to trigger our lead scraper. So this is going to run our actor, and our actor is built within Apify. So if you don't know Apify, they offer a ton of different scraping tools. So you can scrape Google Maps, you can scrape LinkedIn, you can scrape literally pretty much anything that you want. And we're using Make to facilitate that. So Make is going to be sending our request to, and that's going to be triggering this run and scraping those results for us. So that's step number 2. After those results have been processed, right? It scraped 1,000 results. It took an hour. So once that hour has elapsed, it proceeds to step 3, which is to now get those results. So that's all that this is doing. It's grabbing those completed results and then it's uploading them into our Airtable database, which is step 4, which is the Airtable database. So build out the Airtable database and we are good to go. All right, guys, so we're going to come into Make. We're going to create a new scenario, and this is going to be our Google Maps lead scrape initiator. This is what's going to kick it off for us. This is what's connecting all our softwares, and this is the trigger. So we're going to create an Airtable watch responses, and we're going to create a webhook, and you can go ahead and call that webhook whatever you want. I'm going to call it Google Maps scraper. We're going to save that, and it's going to provide us with a webhook. Now, webhook is literally just a link that we can send requests to, and that's what it's looking for. It's looking for requests. So it's coming from our Airtable. It's sending the request here, and then that'll trigger our next software to start scraping those results. So now the next thing that we're going to need is to get a record, right? So we have to grab that record from our Airtable. I'm going to leave it blank for right now, but we're going to be getting that record from the request that was just sent. And then lastly, we're going to be running our actor within this software within Apify. And just like that, now we have the 3 modules added. So now the next thing that we want to do is start working on our Airtable base. So now we'll come into Apify. So when you hop in, right, this is what it looks like from the start. And they give you $5 of free usage. And trust me, that is a lot. If you want to search for actors, you're going to come up here. You're going to search for Google Maps. And I clicked on this second one here, crawler Google Maps, because it had 74,000 people using it. And now when we're in here, you'll see that we have the search terms, we have the location, we have the number of places per search, as well as what details do you want to scrape. So I left all of this blank. The one thing that I did come in and click was deeper city scrape. And so deeper city scrape enables you to extract significantly more places from larger areas, because each city inside the region is more focused. So All that to say, it allows us to get more results. So we turn it on. There are other settings that you can configure here, like if you want to extract reviews or questions, but for my specific use case, I don't need that. So that's pretty much it. Now, once you have that, you're going to click on JSON and it's going to output your JSON request, your payload. And now you can see here, right, deeper city scrape is set to true. The location is New York and max crawled places per search is 50. So all of these things that we had selected in here in terms of the search terms, the locations, they're all being populated here. So we're going to copy that. Now, if this is your first time connecting to Apify, you will have to set up your connection. All you'd have to do is hit add. It's going to ask you for your API token, and that can be found by coming into your integrations, or sorry, your settings. Click on settings. You'll see API and integrations, and then you'll have your personal API token. So you're going to go ahead, you're going to copy that, head back into your make scenario and just add it under your API token right here, and that'll create your connection. Awesome, we've made that connection. Now the next important thing is the actor, right? So these are the list of your actors that are available under actors, but because this will be your first time, you want to come into the store, you'll search Google Maps and you'll click on Google Maps Scraper, and then you're just going to hit save and start. It's going to run once, and what that's going to do is you'll now be able to find it within the API module in Make. So you'd come in here, we're going to select Compass Crawler Google Places, and it's really important that we set run synchronously to no, because otherwise it's going to run for 120 seconds, it's going to time out, and if you look at how long these runs take on average, you know, one result took 48 seconds, 50 results took 3 minutes, so it's usually going to surpass that threshold, and so that's why we want to make sure that it's set to no. Now the next thing that we want to do is put in our input JSON. So that's going to be in the input right here, right, that JSON. We want to copy this and we're just going to paste it in here, and so you'll see how it's outputs like this. If you want to make it look nicer, which is what I'd recommend, just run it through ChatGPT, say format this into JSON, copy and paste it back into here. And once that's done, you're going to end up with something like this. I'm gonna hit save. All right, so now we are going to have to hop into our Airtable, and we're going to have to send some data through here so that we can populate these variables, right, with the location term, with the max amount of places to scrape, and the location, so that it's dynamic, and so that when we're in our Airtable base, we can literally just enter in the search term, the location, the amount that we want to scrape, and then it'll populate these values dynamically. All right, guys, so we're going to need to add the ID. So that's the first field. I always like to have an ID. We'll come in here. We'll put in the auto number. We'll save that. I just renamed the base to lead generation blueprint, and we are going to rename this grid view to research. All right, perfect. Now the next thing we're going to need is the search term. I put that as a single line text. We're going to hit save. Then we're also going to need the location. That's going to be a long text. Let's save that as well. So we need to follow the format of city country. So that's why I put this here as an example. Then we're also going to need how many records we want to scrape. So how many, that's going to be a number, and 0 decimal places for that. And then lastly, we're going to need the ready to go field, which is going to be a checkbox. And we'll hit create field. Now the search term, let's just put in something basic like restaurant. We'll do New York, USA. Now I'm going to set this just to 1 for right now, just so we don't scrape a lot of data, because then we're just going to be waiting for a while. So, and we're going to check ready to go. Then we'll go into our automations and we're going to create that automation. So we're going to say when the record matches the condition, and we'll choose our table, right? I'm actually going to come back in here. We're going to rename our table Google, because in the future I will be adding other platforms such as LinkedIn, as well as many others, right? So that's just the start. We're going to be choosing our Google table, and the condition is going to be when the ready to go is checked, right? So now we should be able to come in here if we click choose record, and we can choose that record. Perfect. Now we want to run a script. We're going to add our input variable. So it's going to be record ID with a capital I, and the value is going to be the Airtable record ID right here. And then I'm just going to paste in this script, which is essentially our webhook. So now we can copy that webhook that we created in the first step. We'll hop back in here. We're going to paste it in here, and the action is just going to be set to Google. We'll hit finish editing. And now we can come in here. I'm going to unlink this from the actor for a second so it doesn't actually fire. And we're going to click run once and test the action. So now this is going to fire. And we should see in a second that some results get populated in here. There we go. Perfect. We got the record ID in the action. Now this didn't work properly because we didn't make that extension properly. So now you're going to want to connect to your Airtable base. Now, if this is your first time doing it, I'll give you a really quick way to get started. So you'd come in here, you'd select Airtable token or key in the add. And then if you come into your Airtable base, you can click here. You just go into, I believe it's Builder Hub, and then you'll see you got API keys, which are now deprecated, or we're going to be using the personal access token. So you just go create new token. Then you want to make sure that you have all of the scopes. So literally I can't add any other scopes, and just make it, give it access to your workspace. And that's it. And then it'll give you the access token. Make sure you save it somewhere secure. And that's pretty much it, right? And then you'd come back into your scenario, and you would choose that Airtable token author key, and you can put in your personal access token and paste it right here, hit save, and then that'll create your connection. So now that you've had your connection created, you're going to hop into your base, and you're going to choose our blueprint that we've created, which is the lead generation blueprint right here. Okay, awesome, that's done. We're going to select the table, which is Google. And now the record ID is going to be the record ID that was just passed from the previous step. Awesome. So now we're going to run this one more time, and we're going to trigger that automation again. And now it'll grab that response. You'll see that it worked properly. And we got all of that information that we need, such as the search term, the location, how many we want to scrape, and that's pretty much it. So now we can link this up to our actor, and if we come into our location query, we're going to paste in the location, the max crawled places per search. We're going to input how many, and for the search strings array in here, we're going to paste in our search term. We'll hit save, and just like that, we've connected it to our Google scraper. So now it's going to scrape the results for us, but we need to also grab those results once the run's complete and push them back into Airtable. So now we've done step 1 and 2. We've made the research scenario. We've connected to our Apify lead scraper. Now the next step that we want to do is implement the results scenario. So let's build that out now. We're going to back out of here, go back to your scenarios. We're going to create a new scenario. This scenario is going to be called the Google Maps lead scrape results blueprint, and we're going to connect to Apify, and we're going to watch the actor runs. So we're going to watch that specific actor, right? We want to create a webhook. We can just call it the Google Maps leads. We already have our connection, and we're going to choose the actor, which is going to be that Google Maps crawler. We'll hit save. It's going to create that webhook, and we'll hit OK. So now it's going to watch for the run. Once it's complete that run, this is going to trigger because it's instant. So it's going to grab that data set, and then we need to get that data set, right? So it's going to find the record, and then we need to grab the data in that record. So in this case, the data set ID is going to be the default data set ID down here. So just add that. The rest you can keep the same. Now the limit, I just put it to 1,000. You could put it to 10,000. Like, it really doesn't matter. Just set it a number so high that you don't have to come in here and change it. And then I threw in a sleep timer when I originally tested this. I put it to a 3-second delay, and I found out actually that there's a 45-minute timer on this to run. So because I had 1,000 results, it only returned like 850. So you can either decrease the time delay between them. My concern was that it might bug Airtable if it pushes them all through at once. So I put a 1-second delay timer here now. And then lastly, we're going to add Airtable, and we're going to add create a record. We'll choose our base, which is the lead generation blueprint. The table is going to be Google. And now we're going to need to add in a couple more fields that are going to be required to pass the data back, right? So we're going to need let's say we're doing restaurants. We need the name of the restaurant. We'd want to get the URL to their website, their phone number, how many reviews they have, all of that sort of basic information that we want. So we'll just hit OK here for a second, and we'll let this run once, right? We'll come into our other scenario, which is the Google Maps lead scrape initiator blueprint. We'll run that once. So now we have both scenarios running, and then we'll come back into here and we'll test this action. So now it's going to scrape for that result. And once that's completed, this is going to trigger as well. And the reason we're doing that is because we need data to pass back into our Airtable. So if we look at our runs right now, you'll see that it's currently starting the crawler. It's been 21 seconds. And I'm guessing within a minute, we should see that result complete, which will then pull this information back in, get the data set items, And then from there, we can update our Airtable database. So now you can see that it's finished. It got that one result. And if we come back into our results, we'll see that it successfully got the data set of items. So we're looking at the Coral Bay Cafe. We have the address and all these other really great information that we're going to need. So obviously nothing got passed back to our Airtable because we didn't put in any of the dynamic fields. But now that we have that data populated, it's much easier to go ahead and generate those things. So we're going to add in a few new fields now. So now obviously we're going to want the company name. You can just choose a single line text for that. We'll create the field. We're going to need the address of the company. So we'll choose long text for that. We'll need the website of that company. So we will choose the URL. We'll create that field. We're going to need a phone number, right? We want to call them. Come in here, we'll choose phone number. We'll create that field. Then we'll also need the rating. So for that, I just chose a number and then I kept it with 1 decimal place because that's how Google has it formatted. We'll also need the review count. So how many reviews the company currently has, which is going to be a number as well, except we'll put the decimal places to 0. And then we'll also need the maps URL, which is going to be a URL. We'll hit create field on that. Boom, we have all of these fields now added. So now we should be able to populate that record. Now I did add 2 other things. So I grouped it by search term. So that way, you know, every search result is unique and you could search different things or search the same thing and just change the location. Just makes it a little bit more organized. And then I'm also going to go ahead and hide some fields. So I don't need the company name. I don't need the address, the website, or all those fields that we just created because this is our research tab. And so now we're going to create 2 new sections. The first section is going to be called Scraper, and the second section is going to be called Results. And then we're going to take that research and we'll drop it into the Scraper. And now we'll create a new grid or a new view, and that's going to be called Results. And then we'll drag the Results view into the Results section. So now we are going to hop into our results and we're pretty much just going to hide all of these things right here, right? So the search term, the location, how many, and ready to go. We'll hide those 4 fields. So now we only see the Google Maps search results that are here, and we are going to filter it. We're going to add a condition where ready to go is blank because all the results that are returned, they won't have that ready to go status checked. And then within our research tab, we're going to filter, we're going to add by company name is empty, so that now none of the results will filter in here because they'll all have company names, and anything that has a company name won't show up on this list. So awesome. So now that that's complete, right? We are pretty much done with this scenario. So hop back into our Google Maps results blueprint, into the Airtable, and our search term now is going to be blank. So actually, if you hit refresh, we should see all those new fields that we just created populated. So now you see them here: company name, address, etc. We want to make sure that ready to go is set to empty. And if we click on company name, we can start putting in those values. So company name. Oh, all right guys, so it looks like we're going to have to run it one more time. I'm just going to put company name as 123 because there's this issue where when I click off, it's not adding these values or these fields. So we'll just put in 123, we'll hit OK. We'll save that. Now we can turn on that automation. And when we pop back into data, we hit check mark on the ready to go. Now that's going to fire this script. We're going to get data that's going to pass through here right now. So you can see it just executed that scenario. And in about a minute, we will get that result populated through here in our results. And once we get values populated into our dataset ID, we can create that record in Airtable and we are done. So if you did get value out of this, I'd really appreciate it if you just dropped a subscribe. It's free and it really helps support my channel. It allows me to continue making videos like this for you. All right guys, so we will have to run this. We're on this one more time in order to get it to work. The reason it didn't work there is because even though the scenario was on and even though we did get data that was populated properly and it was a success, we don't have the little one icon above here. So we won't have the values in order to pass through here, right? Because if you still look, we still see total number of bundles and bundle order position. We need to get the data like this. So to do that, we will have to run this one more time. We're going to click run once on this results so that we'll see all of that data get passed through here. And so once again, we'll come back into here. We'll uncheck ready to go. We'll check it, turn it back on. And now we should get another scraped result that's going to pass through here, and we should see this fire properly. So there you go. Now you see that it fired properly, right? We got the data set items again. And if we click into our Airtable record, we should be able to update all of those values just like this, right? So the title is the company name. The address is going to be the address. The website is the website. Phone number. I like to put phone unformatted. And the reason for that is, let's say we're sending SMS campaigns, and that's something that I'm going to build and share with you guys very shortly, which is, there's this other tool. It's called Lookup API. And so the issue is like, okay, we scraped all of these results. Now we want to set an SMS campaign, but half of those numbers on that list are going to be landline numbers, meaning they can't receive text messages. So how do you verify that? Well, there's an API with Twilio, so we can connect it to Twilio and have it run through all of those results and input back whether it's landline or not. So we're not going to be building that out in this video, but I could build it out in a future video if that's something that you're interested in. So I like to put phone number unformatted because I use Go High Level. That's how Go High Level has the format. So it inputs into Go High Level very easily. And at the same time, that's how most telephony systems work, with the plus and the area code at the front instead of having this format here. So the rating is going to be the total score, the reviews count right here, and the maps URL is going to be the URL, which is right here down at the bottom. And we'll hit save, and just like that, we're complete. So now you can increase the amount that you want to run. You can change your search term, you can change the location, just hit ready to go. And literally all your results will get populated into this nice table, and you'll end up with something like this with the company name, the address, the website, the phone number, rating, review count, and maps. So this took an hour. I got 1,000 results. It's pretty impressive, and it cost me $1. There's literally no other way that I know of to be able to scrape information like this into a database on Autopilot. Like, you literally click a button, and the thing is, you can run this concurrently. So you could have 10 different search terms and just hit check mark, check mark. You could literally keep the same search term, change the location. I could scrape, 10,000 leads, like literally however many leads that I want within an hour just by clicking a button. It's incredible. It runs on auto in the background while you're doing other things. And from here, the possibilities are endless. Let's say you wanted to do a email campaign, right? A personalized email campaign. You could literally run another script, right, to come up with personalized first liners. So you could scrape their website using GPT. So literally set up another automation that's going to go through the entirety of every single one of these websites and write personalized first lines. It'll scan their page. It'll say, wow, I'm super impressed with your 12 years of industry experience. Make it personalized. Possibilities are really endless, and it's whatever you come up with. So with that being said, I hope you got immense value out of this. I'm going to continue to build out more lead generation ideas like this, right? This one's just specific to Google. It could also be specific to LinkedIn, whatever you want. And once again, if you are looking to implement AI into your business, then let's hop on a call, let's chat, and let's figure out creative ways to implement AI into your business. My name's Kevin Hogan. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next one. I hope you have an incredible day. Peace.